First at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news. Buy more for less this summer, from cookware to curtains, comforters, and more. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Label Crafts Jamaica Limited offers exceptional finishes that will make your product extraordinary at an affordable cost. The Temperature by Label Crafts Jamaica Limited, the #1 choice for label printing, is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, Cabinet has approved an additional $1.5 billion for the Graded Overlay or GO Road program.
Will place a special focus on main roads used by students, school buses, and public transport operators.
Children's Advocate says Jamaicans need to play a more active role in identifying threats against children and reporting suspected abuse.
Thewit Children Foundation is calling for the Sexual Offenders Registry to be made public following killing of 10-year-old girl in Trelawney.
Sentenced delayed for man who pled guilty in Paulwell Patterson kidnapping and murder case.
Jamaica has the 59th most powerful passport in the world.
In news from the rest of the world, death toll continues to rise in Guyana boat tragedy.
Foodborne diarrhea illness spreads to 9 U.S. states.
In sports, leading West Indies pacer declines selection on the eve of crucial test against Pakistan.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, Cabinet has approved an additional $1.5 billion for the Graded Overlay or GO Road Rehabilitation Program. Works Minister Robert Morgan will join us.
In the nation's business at 6:25, what community-based measures can be put in place to prevent the abuse of children? Spokesperson at Hear the Children's Cry, Priscilla Duhaney, Project Officer at the Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network, Natalia Burton, and Custos of St. James, Bishop Conrad Pitkin will join us.
And at 7, it's the comments section. This evening, they're asking, what's your reaction to the branding by the government of social houses? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio. Feel free to message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90 FM. All these and more as we take you home this Friday afternoon. It's Friday, July 24, 2026.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Cabinet has approved an additional $1.5 billion for the Graded Overlay or GO Road Rehabilitation Program. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development says the money will fund urgent rehabilitation of national roads with particular emphasis on Western Jamaica and other corridors it says require immediate intervention. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, says Jamaicans will see considerably more road rehabilitation activity between now and December. He says extra attention will be paid to heavily traveled main roads, school routes, and corridors important to public transportation and economic activity.
With the new school year approaching, we will place a special focus on main roads used by students, school buses, and public transport operators because we want their daily journey to and from school to be safer and more reliable. We have already done extensive work over the last several months after Melissa and currently under a $1.6 billion program, and we felt that we needed another intervention to ensure that we can bring back our roads to what they were at least before Melissa.
The works will include road surface rehabilitation, localized pavement repairs, targeted resurfacing, asphaltic sheeting, and the repair of damaged shoulders and edge brakes.
We're going to be doing some very intense work in places like Lucianovo, places like Kingston, Tom Redcom, Arthur Wink Drive, Upper Waterloo Road, West Kings House Road. We're going to continue our work on the boulevard. What we're trying to create are corridors that are pothole free, so people know that, listen, once I drive on this road, it will be pothole free.
The Go Road program will cover thoroughfares maintained by the National Works Agency. The agency will carry out inspections, then rank the roads for treatment based on technical assessments, road safety risks, traffic volumes, strategic importance, and the severity of deterioration. Contractors will be required to correct any work that falls short of the required standards. Morgan describes the program as a sustained island-wide exercise that will run through December alongside works being done under SPARK, the Special Capital Expenditure Program, and other national infrastructure initiatives.
And that's what the plan we have for the National Works Agency for the next 3 months, to ensure that we have corridors that are safe, that people can drive on, and people can be comfortable. This is not just a 1 week or 1 month exercise. We're doing a sustained road rehabilitation program, and will continue as long as is necessary. We have Spark, we have our CapEx programs. All of these programs are coming together, serving different purposes to ensure that people are getting their money's worth. The accountability has increased at the National Works Agency. We're ensuring that the work continues.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Children's advocate Diane Gordon Harrison says the brutal murder of 10-year-old Shania Coke highlights the need for Jamaicans to play an active role in identifying threats against children and reporting suspected abuse. Shania was found dead in Troy District in Trelawney on Tuesday.
We express our deepest condolences to her family, and we stand resolute as an office when we say that a child cannot consent to sexual activity with an adult. This is inappropriate, and we do not condone it in any way. Shani deserved to be safe. She deserved the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to fulfill her potential. This tragedy must strengthen our national resolve to identify threats against children, report suspected abuse, and intervene before another child's life is taken.
Young Shania was on her way to a nearby shop in the community when she was allegedly abducted. Her body was found partially nude in the afternoon with her throat slashed. The main suspect, Delroy Coke, and his father were set upon by an angry mob of residents and chopped several times. Delroy, who is Shania's cousin, was pronounced dead at hospital. Gordon Harrison says jungle justice should not be the resolution when dealing with crimes against children.
While the anger and anguish surrounding this tragedy are understandable, jungle justice is never the answer, and we don't support it. Those who are responsible for crimes against children must be brought to justice through investigation and the lawful processes of the courts.
Diane Gordon Harrison, Children's Advocate.
Meanwhile, the Fiwi Children Foundation is calling for the Sex Offenders Registry to be made public. It made the call in a media release on Friday. Currently, the Sex Offenders Registry can only be accessed by certain categories of people. These include the police, professional counselors of the offenders, prospective employers, and employees, as well as relatives of the offenders, among others. It's managed by the Department of Correctional Services, DCS. In May last year, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness disclosed that the government would review aspects of the Sex Offender Registry to prioritize public safety over offender confidentiality. Over the years, there have been repeated calls for the registry to be made public, with supporters of the call arguing that confidentiality protects perpetrators more than it safeguards potential victims. According to Fiwi Children Foundation, making the registry public would serve as an additional protective measure for families and communities in safeguarding children from potential harm. The foundation is also calling on the media to consider the ethical implications of publishing photographs of child victims. It says far too often the identities and images of children who have suffered horrific crimes are prominently displayed. However, it notes that photographs of suspects or rather accused persons receive significantly less attention.
The sentencing of David Smith, the man who recently pleaded guilty in the kidnapping and murder of 10-month-old Soraya Paulwell and her mother, 27-year-old Tashina Patterson, has been postponed until October 2. The sentencing was scheduled for today, Friday, in the Supreme Court in downtown Kingston. David Smith pleaded guilty to murder on June 10. Robian Williams reports.
Chief Justice Brian Sykes says the court had only recently received a significant Court of Appeal judgment that could affect how David Smith is sentenced. The Chief Justice says the ruling departs from previous sentencing authority and requires careful consideration before a sentence can be imposed. Justice Sykes notes that the sentencing is not a process where a judge can simply decide on a punishment. He adds that there's a methodology that has to be employed, saying the court must focus more on the change in law. Describing it as a significant change, the Chief Justice says additional time is needed to give all parties an opportunity to study the Court of Appeal's decision before sentencing proceeds. Smith, a 35-year-old painter and father of two from Mountain View in Kingston, pleaded guilty on June 10 to 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of kidnapping. He is represented by attorneys Franklin Grenion and Shamar Hanson. Patterson and her infant daughter were kidnapped and murdered on September 9, 2023. 2 other men charged in connection with the killings, Richard Brown and Rashane Miller, have already pleaded guilty and were sentenced. Meanwhile, the alleged mastermind behind the murders, Leota Bradshaw, along with her co-accused Bjorn Black and Roland Balfour, is scheduled to return to court on September 17 for a trial readiness hearing. The Crown has indicated it is ready to proceed to trial, which is set to begin on September 28. All 3 accused remain in custody. Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
Chairman of the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC, Dr. Adrian Stokes, says the 2031 fiscal year is the target for the full implementation of the recommendations of the Professor Orlando Patterson-led Jamaica Education Transformation Commission report. Dr. Stokes was speaking during ETOC's quarterly media briefing on Thursday at the University of the West Indies regional headquarters.
The goal is to be halfway through the project by the end of the current fiscal year, that is by March 2027. So the milestone established for that period, or up to March 2027, is a 53% achievement rate. Then we will build up gradually to 65% by the end of the next fiscal year, which is by 27-28, with full implementation scheduled to be achieved by fiscal year end 2031.
According to the briefing, the Education Ministry has implemented 43% of the recommendations detailed in the Patterson Report in 2021. This represents a 4 percentage point increase in the completion rate compared to the last quarter. Dr. Stokes says the ministry must continue its full steam ahead approach with the implementations while being vigilant of any adjustments that are necessary.
As indicated earlier, the goal is to see the project through to completion. That's very, very important. We shouldn't allow what I would call naysayers or negativity to sap the implementation energy we are seeing. I want to reiterate that implementation will be done in an agile way. And agile meaning you have to implement and self-correct and to modify based on new information, right? That's what sensible people do.
Dr. Adrian Stokes, chairman of the ETOC.
Jamaica has the 59th most powerful passport in the world. That's according to the Henley Passport Index 2006, published on Tuesday. More in this report from Gianni Willie.
The Henley Passport Index compares the visa-free access of 199 different passports to 227 travel destinations. It tallies the destinations where travelers can enter without a visa or obtain a visa, a visitor's permit, or an electronic travel authorization when entering the destination. This year, Jamaica ranks 59th with visa-free access to 84 destinations. That's a 3-place drop from 56 in 2025. Among the destinations accessible to Jamaicans are Argentina, Brazil, Egypt, Madagascar, Nepal, Senegal, Singapore, Thailand, and Zambia. Singapore topped the list with passport holders enjoying access to 192 destinations. Ending the list is Afghanistan. It has the weakest passport at 104th, which allows holders visa-free access to 22 destinations. So, how does Jamaica compare to the other Caribbean islands? Of the 10 independent English-speaking islands in the region, Jamaica is last in 8th place. In first is Barbados at 19, the Bahamas is second at number 20. St. Vincent and the Grenadines and St. Kitts and Nevis are tied for third, ranking at number 21, with access to 158 destinations. Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, tied with Dominica, are ranked 4th, 5th, and 6th respectively. Jamaica's passport only ranks stronger than the non-English speaking independent islands in the Caribbean, namely the Dominican Republic, Cuba, and Haiti. Haiti is last in the region in 87th place, with passports giving holders access to 48 destinations. That's 36 fewer than Jamaica. UK migration consultancy firm Henley & Partners, which carried out the study, says despite an increasingly complex and conflicted geopolitical landscape, international mobility continues to evolve. It says, analysis shows a strong positive relationship between peacefulness and passport power. It notes, however, that while peace provides the foundation for international mobility, diplomacy, geopolitical influence, economic strength, and regional integration can have an even greater impact. Gianni Willie for Nationwide News.
You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
It's IQ Optical's sizzling summer sale. For this month only, get 50% off lenses when you purchase a frame. Kids get free lenses with a purchase of a frame. Make the intelligent choice with IQ Optical. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is
5:17.
Termites, rodents, or birds infesting your home or office? Call Rent-A-Kill Initial, the pest expert, at 876-926-4236 for a free pest assessment island-wide. The temperature brought to you by Rent-A-Kill Initial is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 in Montego Bay.
It's $1 million summer with Mitsubishi. And if I beach, we a go, we have to reach it. Eclipse, cross it to safe and easy. Outlander, link up Pochi weekend. It's $1 million summer with Mitsubishi. My year sport with space and seating comfortable. It's a Mitsubishi. Hey, it's a Mitsubishi. It's $1 million off. Them tree ride. Features nice with the leather inside. Cool AC, everybody feel right. It's $1 million summer. $1 million summer.
This promotion is authorized under Section 53 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Continuing the news, residents of Seaview Gardens in St. Andrew are welcoming the renaming of Wenchman Road to Rodney Price Drive in honor of dancehall artist Bounty Killer, who grew up in the community. The formal ceremony is set for July 28. Nationwide News visited the community on Wednesday to gauge how residents feel about the honor being bestowed on the man known as Warlord and the Poor People's Governor. Mahiri Stewart reports.
Preparations are in high gear for the renaming of Wenchman Road in honor of the veteran dancehall star Bounty Killer. When our news center visited Seaview Gardens Wednesday morning, cleanup was in progress. Workmen were seen shoveling piles of sand and debris from the road onto a truck. By Friday, resurfacing of the road was underway. The renaming is being undertaken by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, in tribute to Price's contribution to Jamaican music and culture, as well as the communities of Seaview Gardens and Callaloo Mews and the wider country. The ceremony is set for Seaview Gardens Primary School on July 28. Our news center spoke with his younger sister, Marcia Price, near the family home where the DJ lived for most of his life.
It's just awesome feelings to see one day where we grew up, my brother, the road where we grew up and rename after him. It's a splendid feelings. Words not even can really explain. I wish my mom and my dad was here to see it. It's awesome and I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful for this. It's a wonderful feeling.
Bounty was born Rodney Bassel Price. He began his musical career as a sound system DJ in his early teens. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest and most influential dancehall lyricists of all time, with an aggressive street tough style earning him the nickname Warlord. He had a high-profile long-running rivalry with fellow DJ Beenie Man. Among his most popular hits are Fed Up, Eagle and the Hawk, and Living Dangerously. Family friend Glenford Ranks Williams says Bounty is deserving of the road renaming honor.
Bounty that road that named Rodney Price, it's good. I do a lot about that, and everybody's supposed to know that too. Everybody's supposed to love that because Rodney and Rodney. Yeah? Christmas treat, regular. When music keep. Anniversary for mother, regular. Anniversary for father, regular. Rodney Price that. So him deserve the road. Yeah, that road that was really, I was stignant with his shotgun, that never pretty. Cause getting a taxi for come a shotgun, nobody no want traffic there. But you say, when a Bounty kill, like, everybody really put traffic there. You see me, I say, it's just a good thing.
The KSAMC will also confer the key to the city on Price in recognition of his outstanding and iconic contributions and in honor of his legacy as a creative pioneer, poet, philanthropist, and voice of the people. Videographer Rowan Videoface Chisholm expressed his appreciation to his longtime friend and confidant.
Oh, I feel so overwhelmed. You know, what kind of work you have to do in a life for a road can name after you, a whole heap of work. Check your symbol, them and all the greats, them a road name after them. Just check the work where them put in. Bounty Killer will love you. And all of the people them will put the body of this work together and I have the key for the city and change the name, the road to Rodney Price Drive. We love you so much. We appreciate you so much. Well deserved.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The number of bodies recovered from the MV Barima tragedy in Guyana has risen to 73. Specialist dive teams recovered the body of one male during Friday morning's operations at the wreck site. To date, 76 people have been rescued. President Irfan Ali says divers are making steady progress in gaining access to the inside of the sunken vessel. The underwater mission is being conducted by French, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyanese divers working alongside Guyanese Defense Force, Coast Guard and other local agencies.
The outbreak of cyclospora, an illness from a parasite which causes explosive diarrhea, has spread to 9 U.S. states, bringing the total number of states with reported cases to 41. The outbreak is linked to shredded iceberg lettuce distributed through a U.S. commercial supply chain. Cases have now been reported in Illinois, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Pennsylvania.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, Cabinet approves an additional $1.5 billion for the Graded Overlay or GO Road program.
Children's Advocate urges Jamaicans to play a more active role in identifying threats against children and reporting suspected abuse.
Sentence delayed for man who pleaded guilty in Paulwell Patterson kidnapping and murder case. I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com, and please feel free to join our Nationwide Family Club at patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. News next, the headlines at 6.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting. Get a T-Tag and lock in your toll rates for the next 90 days. Effective Saturday, August 1st, 2026. There will be some changes to the toll rates at the Portmore, Spanish Town, Vineyards, Maypen, Tollgate Mainline, and Tollgate Ramp toll plazas. But with a T-Tag, your rates will remain unchanged until October 31, 2026. Plus, all Class 1 and Class 2 T-Tag customers will get their 10th weekly trip through the same toll plaza free. Visit transjamhighways.com for the upcoming rate changes. Don't pay more at the toll booths. Get your T-Tag today from any manually operated toll booth on Transjam Highways.
As a taxi man, every mickle make a muckle. I see him way so BCIC Easy Pay stay.
Having 11 months to pay my car and home insurance, little by little, puts me at ease.
Exactly. With my type of business, we have to fret about pay a big money, yet always covered.
Get as much as 11 months to pay your car and home insurance while enjoying 100% coverage with BCIC Easy Pay.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. We start with news from the Commonwealth Games because Jamaica had a mixed opening day of action at the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland. Of course, they were involved in a 3-on-3 women's wheelchair basketball after easing to a 21-5 win over the Cayman Islands. The Jamaicans lost a close one, 18-17 to Uganda before falling 21-13 to Australia. They'll be back in action on Sunday. They got a break tomorrow, and they come back on Sunday to do it again against Kenya and Fiji. The men's team will be in action on Saturday. They'll be taking on England, Singapore, and Fiji in their pool. Also in action on Saturday will be the national senior netball team. They'll be up against their Caribbean rivals, Trinidad and Tobago, in a game set to tip off at 11 o'clock in the morning, Jamaica time. Boxer Martes Kope will also be in action on Sunday. He will play again. He will be up against Puana Koishi of Lesotho. Track and field gets underway on Monday. It's a scaled down Commonwealth Games, hence track and field is so early in the program. Cricket now, the Brian Lara Stadium in Trinidad and Tobago will create history on Saturday when the West Indies clash with Pakistan in the first of 2 test matches, which will close out a busy international summer for the home team. The stadium, named after the West Indies batting legend Brian Lara, will become the 13th venue in the region to host test cricket. The showdown is crucial for both countries. They're looking to climb into the top half of the World Test Championship standings. The Windies will also be looking to secure back-to-back Test Series wins for the first time since 2022, when, of course, they beat Sri Lanka just a few weeks ago. 4 of the last 7 series between the teams have ended in drawn results. The West Indies will be hampered by the absence of pacer Azari Joseph. Despite he was selected in the 15-man squad, he refused to take up the offer.
It is a big loss. Mr. Joseph has declined selection. That's the reality of the situation. He was selected. He's now coming from injury, and for reasons that he has declined the selection. That is a decision that is way over my head. I leave that with the directors to come up with whatever solutions that is where contracted players get to decline selection.
Led by Kemar Roach, fresh off his 300th test wicket. He'll lead the attack, of course. Tajnarain Chanderpaul could get into the 11 as an opener. Of course, John Campbell is out injured. And coach Darren Sammy says he has a team which is firing on all cylinders, especially the bowling department.
We have a bowling lineup that we've seen that could take 20 wickets. That's the first start to winning test matches. We saw it in New Zealand, we saw it in the Australia series. We matched Australia with the ball, we matched New Zealand with the ball as well, and the confidence and the work that the batters have put in, you could see it bearing fruit in the test series against Sri Lanka. Much more consistency coming through. So once we mesh these 2 batsmen score runs, we know we have the bowling lineup to take 20 wickets and help us win test matches.
That's the West Indies coach, Darren Sammy. Football now, interim coach of Jamaica's national senior men's football team, Ruddy Speed, says selecting the squads going forward will present an interesting dynamic as the country looks to balance the journey, which ultimately they hope will lead to the 2030 FIFA World Cup finals. That journey starts in September with the CONCACAF Nations League. Jamaica will play in Group B alongside Honduras, Guatemala, Suriname, Martinique, and El Salvador. The Swiss format will again be used, with Jamaica playing 4 games, 2 away and 2 at home. The top 2 from each of the League A groups will advance to the final 8 of the competition, and they'll be joining the USA, Mexico, Canada, and of course Panama. Speed says with Gold Cup qualification at stake, they've got to get the balance right.
There's 2 things. You always want to win. Everybody wants to win. It's also the qualification for the Gold Cup is also healthier with the qualification for the 2030 World Cup. So it's a very important league to play in. So we have to do the best we can, but we still have to keep an eye on development, because development is essential for the World Cup in 2030. And we also have to keep an eye on new talent that might emerge. So, yeah, it's a very, I would say, enthralling process.
And we close out with some news on basketball. The basketball superstar LeBron James says he had played his last game when the Los Angeles Lakers were swept out of the NBA by the Oklahoma City Thunder in the playoff in May. The 41-year-old James made the admission on the day he announced that he'll be joining the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year contract he's described as his last decision. James spent 8 seasons in LA and he led them to 1 title. That was in the 2020 season. James says he's still in love with the game and believes he can help Philadelphia to win the championship, hence his decision to continue playing. Leading American sports talk show host Stephen A. Smith said he was baffled by the decision.
Shock, because I thought that if he was going back east, he would go home, that he wouldn't dangle his availability in the face of the Cleveland Cavaliers and then go somewhere else. For him to choose the Philadelphia 76ers, this is a shock among shockers. And I think that this speaks to Bob Myers, the architect, the former 4-time champion executive for the Golden State Warriors, being in Philly now and having him there, who went out and pulled off a heist as far as most of us are concerned in getting Jaylen Brown. So now you got Jaylen Brown, okay, who's big time, obviously.
That's Stephen A. Smith, and James, of course, will now be a part of arguably one of the best starting 5s in the NBA, to include Jaylen Brown, VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, and the Cameroon Colossus, Joel Embiid. That's sports. We're going to be back at 6:05 with our main sportscast. Join us then.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
For all your custom framing, printing, graphic design, and purchase of art, Make It Frame Art Jamaica Limited, serving you for over 40 years. The time by Frame Art Jamaica is
5:33.
From the vibrant waterfront setting of Ocho Rios Bay Beach to the breathtaking seascape of Laughing Waters, discover exceptional venues for your special events. The temperature by the Urban Development Corporation is
30 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital. Kingston is 31 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Remember the first time, the first glance, the first touch, and rediscover that feeling. At Couples Resorts, every stay feels like the first time all over again. Escape to a couples-only, all-inclusive paradise with gourmet dining, premium cocktails, and unforgettable ocean views, all included. Jamaican residents can celebrate with exclusive rates from $405 USD per night, valid through April 30th. Visit couples.com/residence. Couples Resorts, like the first time, every time.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
top up online instead. I beg you top up online instead. Don't bother hold up the lane and waste people time. Beg you top up online instead. Download the Mighty Tag app and have fun to your T-Tag. Anytime, anywhere, any amount I can spare. Just top up online instead. Tell us work hard for you. Nobody give them more work for you. Don't hold up them time, just top up online. Beg you top up online instead. Get tripped in the tag and free. That's why you have money for dash way. No join the manual line. Top up online. Beg you top up online instead. If the Mighty Tag up it a hurt up your head. Top up with WhatsApp instead. Send a one text 3553336. Beg you top up.
Every day, Jamaicans have something to say. In the group chats, on social media, in the streets, there's a place where it all comes together. The comment section. This is not a lecture. This is not a call-in show. This is the hottest topics of the day, filtered through real opinions, real WhatsApp messages, real voice notes, real reactions. You agree, disagree, sound off, text it, voice note it, debate it. Comments section. Monday to Friday from 7 to 7:30 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
It's 5:37 this Friday evening. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Nationwide at 5. Of course, the country's foremost evening radio program, bringing to you the latest and greatest of the news. I'm Saeed Bernard. And of course, I turn right away to our cover story. The Cabinet has approved an additional $1.5 billion for the Graded Overlay or GO Road Rehabilitation Program. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development, not job creation, infrastructure development, says the money will fund urgent rehabilitation of national roads with particular emphasis on Western Jamaica and other corridors it says require immediate intervention. The Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Nesta Morgan, he says Jamaicans will see considerably more road rehabilitation activity between now and December. He says extra attention will be paid to heavily traveled main roads, school routes, and corridors important to public transportation and economic activity. The works will continue road surface rehabilitation, localized pavement repairs, targeted resurfacing, asphaltic sheeting, and the repair of damaged shoulders and edge brakes. The GO Road program will cover thoroughfares maintained by the National Works Agency, the NWA. The agency will carry out inspections, then rank the roads for treatment based on technical assessments, road safety risks, traffic volumes, strategic importance, and the severity of the deterioration. Contractors will be required to correct any work that falls short of the required standards. Morgan describes the program as a sustained island-wide exercise that will run through December alongside works being done under SPARK, the Special Capital Expenditure Program, and other national infrastructure initiatives. Well, Minister Morgan joins us now to discuss further. Good afternoon, Minister.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me?
Yes, perfectly.
Good.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining
And
us.
good afternoon to your listeners as well.
Good. Well, let me get to it, Minister Morgan. What prompted the increase in the allocation at this point in time?
It's needed. The reality of it is that Melissa really did a number on us. We have not yet been able to, in any way, shape, or form, recover our road infrastructure in a way that we are comfortable with. We have spent a lot of money in clearing, in providing temporary access, but there are still some roads, especially in Western Jamaica, sections of St. James, sections of Westmoreland and Hanover, that require some assistance. Additionally, we have our back-to-school period coming up, and we have our school bus system that has to be going into certain areas that are not in a good condition, and it is really creating a challenge for the school buses. And not just the school buses, but also private public passenger vehicles who have to be traversing some of these school bus routes. And then you have other areas that, for example, I'll give you an example.
Yes.
Lucy is almost at sea level and at times below it. There's a drain in Lucy that is damaged or it's blocked, and it also has created significant damage to the town. And we want to fix that drain, but we cannot asphalt it because the area continues to be the subject of salt water from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have to concrete that area. Now, the normal work that you would do in a overlay program would not do that. So you have to make special allocations to that. And then there are other areas across the island that we may not have. For example, in the Kingston metropolitan area, you see potholes emerging on West Kings Road. This is some emerging on Trafalgar, on Cheddar and other areas. So we want to have a continuous intervention where what I'm trying to create are no pothole zones in the Kingston and St. Andrew metropolitan area and other town
zones. Talk to me about that,
Right.
Minister. That's interesting. No pothole zones. Because a listener might say to you, Minister, but we don't want any other roads to have potholes. So what do you mean by zones?
We don't have enough money to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to start somewhere. And the areas that are most traversed, for example, there should be no potholes on Barbican, Constant Spring Road, Hagley Park Road. There should be no potholes between the airport and downtown. There should be no potholes on Port Royal Street, right? And went to Ming. Sorry, my apologies. There should be no pothole on, let's say, for example, the corridor from the airport going to Mountain View, because these are essential corridors that deal with emergency transportation and so on. So we're getting very focused. The Spark program is going to do a lot of work on, let's say, the Boulevard and so on. It's going to do a lot of work on Floresville, Glasspool. It's going to do a lot of work between Hanover and Negril. But until that time, later on this year and next year, people still have to travel.
Yes.
People still have challenges that they're facing, sections of Portmore and so on that we have to intervene in. It's going to continue. We're not stopping all the way until next year. Once there's a pothole somewhere, we have the money to fix it, we're going to intervene.
Good. I want to ask you, though, Minister, because the roads, you should see more road rehabilitation activity between now and December. Well, school starts in September, and you know full well, more than anybody else, if at all, that when it comes to managing the road works, but the traffic on the road, especially in back-to-school time, how do you propose managing that, especially if you're fixing the most traversed roads? We know the instance of Wellington, which you've had to come here and give updates upon updates as to why the road took so long to reopen and what that caused in the Ligony area. So people hear that there should be more road work, and that is fine. They're happy for that. But how do you now manage that with regard to the level of traffic that we are expecting, for example, for back to school?
It's a double-edged sword. The people are demanding that the road be fixed, but some of the same persons are upset when you have to divert traffic, or because, people are going about their daily business. You have to be understanding that everybody's stress and everybody's strain is their personal situation. So you cannot make a general criticism or a general statement about how people interact with the road, because people have a personal activity that they have to maintain. But we just have to try as best as possible to do some work in the night where it's possible. It's not possible most of the time. We have to try and make sure that the persons who are out there are properly kitted out with the necessary road management paraphernalia, high visibility vests, where there's a possibility of doing alternate routes to do that. But the reality of it is that as we ramp up our road rehabilitation program over the next months to years, what we've announced is actually the tip of the iceberg. When we start fixing Arthur Wint, South Camp Road, and Tom Redcom, it's going to result in a significant disruption. When we start fixing the Boulevard and Mullines Road and Sir Floresville, what we're seeing with the little patching that we're doing on the seating is going to be minor compared to what is going to happen. And what we have done at the NWA is we've already started planning. We're about to set up a little unit that deals with road management for these massive projects that we're about to embark on. And I suspect that these small interventions we're making could be considered a test case in how we can start to learn to better manage the road repair process and how it impacts commuters.
Got you.
But we are never arrogant. We are never self-assured in terms of the impact. We're always seeking to assure the public that we're trying our best, and where we make errors, please identify it so that we can make adjustments.
Got you. Minister, I'm going to ask you to hold the line for us. We're going to take a short break and come back.
Thank you.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
30 degrees in Kingston, 31 out west in Montego Bay.
Hi, I'm Chris Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness. July is Healthcare Workers Appreciation Month, and I want to salute all our healthcare workers for their work. You are the vanguards of our health, and I have experienced firsthand your commitment, service, and sacrifice. Thank you for all that you do. On behalf of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the government, and the people of Jamaica, enjoy your special month. God bless.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. As a taxi man, every mickle make a muckle. I see him way so BCIC Easy Pay stay.
Having 11 months to pay my car and home insurance, little by little, puts me at ease.
Exactly. With my type of business, I have to fret about pay a big money, yet always covered.
Get as much as 11 months to pay your car and home insurance while enjoying 100% coverage with BCIC Easy Pay.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jackama figure dig the wall.
Our Total Tools.
Weed whacker figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total Tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools located at 102 Main Street, Outer Rias, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston, and Lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
13 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're still on the cover story here at Nationwide at 5, speaking with the Minister with responsibility for works, or you could just call him the Road Minister, yes? Minister Morgan, Robert Morgan.
Hi, good day. I'm back. Sorry about that.
Good. As regards the particular road program, the accelerated bridge infrastructure program, rather, any updates on that? What's the latest with that?
So we're in negotiations with the bridge supplier right now as we speak, and we're close to finalizing the negotiations. After which, NWA will make a report to the ministry, who will then submit a cabinet submission. If cabinet approves, then we'll sign a contract either mid-August to early September, and we will expect the first bridge to be here by January.
And when you said the first bridge to be here, under this program, you're importing the bridge?
Yes, so the bridges will be brought in from the UK, but the base will be made here in Jamaica. So local companies will make the base. As you know, that the bridge has to be placed on a platform,
right?
And there needs to be some level of revetment and so on to protect the bridge.
Got you. And speaking of the National Works Agency, has a replacement been identified for E.G. Hunter, the long-time serving CEO?
So there were advertisements in the paper and a couple dozen people applied. I'm aware that the ministry, I have been advised that the Public Services Commission, which is in charge of this process, has nothing to do with me, I'm not involved, have been going through their process, and they will be having interviews shortly. And afterwards, an announcement will be made as to who the next person will be.
Could you possibly give us a timeline that you're targeting to have that announcement made?
Hopefully, I cannot dictate to the Public Services Commission.
No, but from your knowledge of the process and the time that it would take and all of that, do you have an idea?
Probably August, September the latest, I suspect.
Very well. And the rollout of the registry of roads, what's the latest with that
I
one?
expect that by Prime Minister will be having the launch or the naming of a section of the St. Thomas Road, which will be called the Paul Bogle Highway on the 30th of July. And at that time, he will make an announcement about the National Road Register. A major event, actually. I may not sound as excited as I should be, but the naming of that road as the Paul Bogle Highway from the section on the border of St. Andrew to the Morant Bay roundabout, about 31 kilometers of road, is a very important step in the recognition of the development that we have invested in as a country and as a government in St. Thomas, and the recognition of somebody who has been so instrumental in defining the struggle and the triumph of the people of Jamaica and St. Thomas, who in the name of Paul Bogle. So I think it's fitting that that road section of it is named after Paul Bogle. Cabinet would have made a decision July last year before the elections, but we didn't want to have it co-mingle with the election campaign. We didn't want it to be seen as a political action or anything associated with politics. So we held off and decided that now is the right time to formally rename that section of the road the Paul Bogle Highway.
What's your response, though, to the spokesman on Land and Works, Lothan Cousins? He has, in a release, cited that, yes, they support honoring the national hero, the Right Excellent Paul Bogle, but it cannot support the People's National Party. That is what appears to be a premature celebration when serious engineering concerns remain unresolved. Recent reports of active breakaways, structural failure along Wharf Road in Morant Bay, with land slippage and defects along the highway, he says raise legitimate questions about the project's readiness, quality assurance, and long-term public safety. What's your response to that?
Well, anything that does not support the People's National Party's promoting of themselves will never be accepted by them. The fact of the matter is, the South Coast Highway was a very difficult project. It was essentially working in a live construction site where persons had to be having their businesses open. We had to put in water lines on an active construction site where there were major challenges, dust nuisance and all of that. The road is under warranty. Any flaw that comes up on the road has to be repaired by the contractor. It is a good road. There are sections of it that have seen failure due to various circumstances, but that is expected, which is why you have warranty. You put warranty on something because of the possibility that they may not work as well. If you go to courts to buy a fridge, they offer you a 3-year warranty. Why? Because man-made things tend to break. And that is what we have done, and I think that's a responsible thing to do. I would welcome the opposition to come and participate in the renaming. I hope they will be there. And it is for me, it's a very important symbol. The section that we're opening has been handed over by the contractor to the government of Jamaica. We have examined the sections. There was an incident, I think a couple of days ago, where somebody lit a fire and destroyed the culvert and we had to dig up the road. But that's no fault of the government. That's just somebody who was malicious.
So basically what you're saying to me, Robert Morgan, is that for the defects that have been identified along the roadway, the highway, those are acknowledged, identified, and they're being rectified.
Every road is going to have defects, some more than others.
Yes, but I'm asking more about the highway now. Those defects that they say are there and are serious.
They have been addressed, and whatever defects have emerged are to be addressed whenever they emerge.
Very well.
The point I'm trying to make to you is that the road is going to have defects. It is going to have defects. You have water pipes under there. I remember an incident where somebody turned off the water valve and it caused a geyser to burst through the middle of the road. Somebody's going to say it's a defect. To us, that's maliciousness. Right? There are going to be challenges on the road going forward.
Yes.
What is important is maintenance and fixing whatever emerges on the road.
Indeed. And for context, you mentioned, and quite palpably there actually, when you buy a fridge, you get 3 years warranty. How long is the warranty on the roads?
So the defect liability period at handover, meaning that the consultant would have looked at what the contractor have done and said this road is fit to be handed over to the government, is 2 years.
2 years from handover.
It's between 1 and 2 years for the road. I need to be specific, so don't quote me on it. But I remember it is either 1 or 2 years.
And this 1 or 2 years, is it a blanket 1 or 2 years for all the roads being done on the Spark program or Go, or it varies?
All the roads on the South Coast Highway. Okay, correct me. 2 years under the South Coast Highway Improvement Project, 1 year under Spark. That's where I made the mistake.
Okay.
So for the South Coast Highway Improvement Project, the defects liability period is 2 years. And for the Spark program, the defects liability period is 1 year, 12 months. And that 12 months kicks in when the road is handed over, not when the road is finished.
Got you. Not when the road is finished.
Asphalt is, right. When the consultant says, this road, everything on it has been done properly, and here you go, government, this is now your road.
Very well. Well, Minister, you are I call you the road minister. And we have a YouTube chat here with people, and they're asking about some roads, but I don't expect you to know about the roads offhand here this evening. But some people are saying, and I'm bringing it to your attention, they're asking you not to forget St. John's Road going up to Kitso Town. It's in a very deplorable state. They've also asked about Federal Bed Road in Spanish Town and Old Harbour Road to St. John's Road. They're asking you please to pay that some attention. You're making a note, Road Minister?
Yeah, man, I'm listening.
Good.
What I want to say to people is that I am responsible for 5,000 kilometers of road out of the 27,000. Yes, the road that I am responsible for carry the bulk of traffic in Jamaica. But a majority of the roads in Jamaica are controlled by parish councils. A lot of the roads that people are calling me personally, sending me WhatsApp, see me in Price Mart, see me in supermarkets, see me at Fontana, wherever I go, see me at restaurants, confront me on the road when I walk on the road. A lot of the roads are parish council roads. And I'm asking people to, just as though you're holding me accountable, and I expect to be held accountable, hold your councillors and your mayors accountable. Desmond McKenzie has increased the allocation to parish councils year on year. They need to start doing their bulk of the work. A majority of the roads I fix in Kingston in many cases are parish council roads. Paddington Terrace, when I fixed it, was a parish council road. Millsboro Avenue, Millsboro Crescent, several other roads.
Under your one road authority, as you have it, if it comes to fruition in its form, in its proposed form, this won't be an excuse anymore.
It is not meant to take over all roads.
It will not.
It is not meant to take over all roads. It's meant to regulate all roads. So we are not going to destroy the parish councils by taking over all roads.
So the parish council will still have to do what they have to do for their roads.
Okay. There may be occasions where a road rises to the level. For example, Ligani Avenue is, for all intents and purposes, no longer a community road. It is now a main road that connects Ligani to Barbican. We may have to take over that road as a national road. And that's why the National Road Register that we're going to launch on the 30th of the month is important. Because you're going to be able to go online, and when we launch the app, you can go and you can identify which road is NWA, which road is RADA, which road is parish council, and you can even take pictures of the road. You can look at the problems on the road. If somebody drops cement on the road, like what's happening in St. Thomas, you can take a video of it, take a picture of it, upload it. So we are trying to transform how roads are managed, transform how the National Works Agency works with the One Road Authority, and really change how Jamaicans see roads, not just as physical infrastructure, but as assets for the country.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Robert Nesta Morgan, the Minister with Responsibility for Works.
You're welcome, my friend, and thank you very much for having me and to your listeners for listening.
Yeah, man. Good. All right. Well, you heard it there. I see many of you in the YouTube chat listing out the cadre of roads. Juliet says, potholes killing her in Port Maria. I can't run without making sure I'm looking and I put my foot. But Juliet, why are you running in the road though? Run on the sidewalk. Unless you're saying that the road don't have no sidewalk either. That's a matter in and of itself. Golden Grove to Steerfield Town. Please, 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 the MP now did nothing. So they're asking for some help there. Somebody here says one road authority is needed. Parish council is not cutting it. But you've heard from the minister just now, Dre, that notwithstanding the one road authority, while it regulates all roads, it would not be taking over the purview of the parish councils, meaning that they would still have to do what they have to do. So that, and I'm glad you clarified that, because that does not do what people thought or think it would. That's an important clarification. Anyways, 6 o'clock, that's the cover story. Up next, the headlines.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
a minute after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Cabinet has approved an additional $1.5 billion for the Graded Overlay, or GO, road rehabilitation program. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development says the money will fund urgent rehabilitation of national roads, with particular emphasis on Western Jamaica and other corridors it says require immediate intervention. Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Nesta Morgan, says Jamaicans will see considerably more road rehabilitation activity between now and December. He says extra attention will be paid to heavily traveled main roads, school routes, and corridors important to public transportation and economic activity.
With the new school year approaching, we will place a special focus on main roads used by students, school buses, and public transport operators, because we want their daily journey to and from school to be safer and more reliable. We have already done extensive work over the last several months after Melissa and currently under the $1.6 billion program, and we felt that we needed another intervention to ensure that we can bring back our roads to what they were at least before Melissa.
The works will include road surface rehabilitation, localized pavement repairs, targeted resurfacing, asphaltic sheeting, and the repair of damaged shoulders and edge brakes.
We're going to be doing some very intense work in places like Lucianovo, places like Kingston, Tom Redcom, Arthur Wint Drive, Upper Waterloo Road, West Kings House Road. We're going to continue our work on the boulevard. What we're trying to create are corridors that are pothole free, so people know that, listen, once I drive on this road, it will be pothole free.
Robert Morgan, Minister with responsibility for works. Children's advocate Diane Gordon Harrison says the brutal murder of 10-year-old Shania Coke highlights the need for Jamaicans to play an active role in identifying threats against children and reporting suspected abuse. Shania was found dead in Troy District in Trelawney on Tuesday.
We express our deepest condolences to her family, and we stand resolute as an office when we say that a child cannot consent to sexual activity with an adult. This is inappropriate, and we do not condone it in any way. Shani deserved to be safe. She deserved the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to fulfill her potential. This tragedy must strengthen our national resolve to identify threats against children, report suspected abuse, and intervene before another child's life is taken.
Young Shania was on her way to a nearby shop in the community when she was allegedly abducted. Her body was found partially nude in the afternoon, with her throat slashed. The main suspect, Delroy Koch, and his father were set upon by an angry mob of residents and chopped several times. Delroy, who is Shania's cousin, was pronounced dead at hospital. Gordon Harrison says jungle justice should not be the resolution when dealing with crimes against children.
While the anger and anguish surrounding this tragedy are understandable, jungle justice is never the answer, and we don't support it. Those who are responsible for crimes against children must be brought to justice through investigation and the lawful processes of the courts.
Diane Gordon Harrison, children's advocate. The sentencing of David Smith, the man who recently pleaded guilty in the kidnapping and murder of 10-month-old Soraya Paulwell and her mother, 27-year-old Tashina Patterson, has been postponed until October 2. The sentencing was scheduled for today, Friday, in the Supreme Court in downtown Kingston. Smith, a 35-year-old painter and father of 2 from Mountain View in Kingston, pleaded guilty on June 10 to 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of kidnapping. He is represented by attorneys Franklin Grenion and Shamar Hansen. Patterson and her infant daughter were kidnapped and murdered on September 9, 2023. 2 other men charged in connection with the killings, Richard Brown and Roshane Miller, have already pleaded guilty and were sentenced. Meanwhile, the alleged mastermind behind the murders, Leota Bradshaw, along with her co-accused Bjorn Black and Roland Balfour, is scheduled to return to court on September 17 for a trial readiness hearing. The Crown has indicated it is ready to proceed to trial, which is set to begin on September 28. All 3 accused remain in custody. Chairman of the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC, Dr. Adrian Stokes, says the 2031 fiscal year is the target for the full implementation of the recommendations of the Professor Orlando Patterson-led Jamaica Education Transformation Commission report. Dr. Stokes was speaking during ETOC's quarterly media briefing on Thursday at the University of the West Indies Regional Headquarters.
The goal is to be halfway through the project by the end of the current fiscal year, that is by March 2027. So the milestone established for that period, or up to March 2027, is a 53% achievement rate. Then we will build up gradually to 65% by the end of the next fiscal year, which is by 27-28, with full implementation scheduled to be achieved by fiscal year end 2031.
Dr. Adrian Stokes, chairman of the ETOC. According to the briefing, the Education Ministry has implemented 43% of the recommendations detailed in the Patterson report. This represents a 4 percentage point increase in the completion rate compared to the last quarter. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
From the biggest tracks to the biggest energy, Nationwide keeps it moving. If you love the vibes, come and lock in with us for real.
World boss, leave a prison could stop me.
Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
Practice, God me say you watch you of me practice.
Get a T-Tag and lock in your toll rates for the next 90 days. Effective Saturday, August 1st, 2026. There will be some changes to the toll rates at the Portmore, Spanish Town, Vineyards, Maypen, Tollgate Mainline, and Tollgate Ramp toll plazas. But with a T-Tag, your rates will remain unchanged until October 31, 2026. Plus, all Class 1 and Class 2 T-Tag customers will get their 10th weekly trip through the same toll plaza free. Visit transjamhighways.com for the upcoming rate changes. Don't pay more at the toll booths. Get your T-Tag today from any manually operated toll booth on Transjam Highways.
Hey, turn up to 25. Turn up to 25. Could I drive out fresh in a MG ride with a staycation all inclusive flex? Yeah. I touch a milli cash. Yes, smart TV, PS5, and home upgrade.
Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel. Sign up or switch to postpaid or Digicel Plus. Buy a SIM. Top up with 5 bills or more. Buy a 7-day plan or higher. A smartphone deal or just pay your bill. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promotion period June 24 to September 5, 2026. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for terms and conditions.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The Brian Lara Cricket Stadium in Trinidad and Tobago will create history on Saturday when the West Indies clash with Pakistan in the first of 2 test matches. And of course, that will bring to a close a busy summer of international cricket for West Indies. The stadium, named after the West Indies batting superstar Brian Lara, will become the 13th venue in the region to host Test cricket. The showdown is crucial for both teams. They're both looking to climb into the top half of the World Test Cricket Championship standings. The Windies will also be looking to secure back-to-back Test Series wins for the first time since 2022. They're coming fresh off a series win over Sri Lanka that happened a few weeks ago. And 4 of the last 7 series between the two teams have ended in drawn results. And the West Indies, of course, will be hampered by the absence of Alzarri Joseph, the pacer from Antigua. He was named in the 15-man squad but has not reported for duty.
It is a big loss. Mr. Joseph has declined selection. That's the reality of the situation. He was selected. He's now coming from injury, and for reasons that he has declined the selection. That is a decision that is way over my head. I leave that with the directors to come up with whatever solutions that is where contracted players get to decline selection.
And Kemar Roach from Barbados, fresh from his 300th wicket in Test cricket, he'll lead the bowling attack. Tajnaran Chandapal, he's expected to get into the 11 because opener John Campbell, the Jamaican, is out injured. Sammy says his team is firing at the minute on all cylinders, especially the bowling unit.
We have a bowling lineup that we've seen that could take 20 wickets. That's the first start to winning Test matches. We saw it in New Zealand, we saw it in the Australia series. We matched Australia with the ball, we matched New Zealand with the ball as well, and the confidence and the work that the batters have put in, you could see it bearing fruit in the Test series against Sri Lanka. Much more consistency coming through. So once we mesh these two batsmen score runs, we know we have the bowling lineup to take 20 wickets and help us win Test matches.
Yeah, that's the West Indies coach, Darren Sammy. Jamaica had mixed day in the women's wheelchair basketball competition, the opening day of action at the 2026 Commonwealth Games being held in Glasgow, Scotland. After easing to a 21-5 win over the Cayman Islands, the Jamaicans lost a close one, 18-17 to Uganda, before falling 21-13 to Australia. They'll be back in action on Sunday after tomorrow's rest day. They'll be back against Kenya and Fiji. The men's team will bow into action on Saturday. They play England, they play Kenya, and of course they play Singapore and Fiji as well. Also in action on Saturday, the Sunshine Girls national senior netball team, they battle against their bitter Caribbean rivals Trinidad and Tobago in a game that's set to tip off at 11 o'clock in the morning Jamaica time. Boxer Marcus is also in action as well. That's Marcus Kopi enters the ring on Sunday, and he'll take on Puana Koichi of Lesotho. Track and field action will get underway on Monday. Jamaican-based outfit Mount Pleasant Football Academy, they booked their spot in the quarterfinals of the CFU Club Shield as their opponents, All Saints United from Antigua, withdrew from the tournament. The fixture was scheduled for Saturday in Trinidad and Tobago. The Mount Pleasant team is still in Trinidad. Actually, they went up for a 2-game series, so they'll now wait on the winner of tomorrow's other clash, at Sunday's other clash between Weymouth Wales versus SV Britannia. And that game, Mount Pleasant will play the winner on Tuesday. The team, as I said, they're already in Trinidad and Tobago. And coach Theodore Whitmore says his players are eager to get their campaign up and running.
I think it would be a good gauge to see where we are in the competition. And it's a competition that they want to do well in, you know, the perks it comes, it gets you in the Caribbean Cup Championship, which we are the defending champion and we want to go back there to defend our title. So it's a lot at stake.
Yeah. That's Theodore Whitmore. Mount Pleasant must get into the final of the Shield competition if they are to get into the Caribbean Cup proper, where they'll join Cavalier and Portmore United, the two finalists in the Premier League last season. And interim coach of the Jamaica national senior football team, Rudolph Speed, says it will be an interesting dynamic selecting the squads going forward. And of course, he's looking forward to the journey that will ultimately take them to the FIFA World Cup finals in 2030. That journey starts in September in the CONCACAF Nations League, where Jamaica will play in Group B. They'll take on Honduras, they'll take on Guatemala, Suriname, Martinique, and El Salvador. The Swiss format will again be used, with Jamaica playing 4 games, 2 at home and 2 away. The top 2 in each of the League A groups will advance to the final 8 of the competition, where they'll join up with the likes of Canada, Mexico, Panama, and the USA. Speed says with the Gold Cup qualification at stakes, they've got to get the balance right going forward.
The two things, you always want to win. Everybody wants to win. It's also the qualification for the Gold Cup is also healthier with the qualification for the 2030 World Cup. So it's a very important league to play in. So we have to do the best we can, but we still have to keep an eye on development, because development is essential for the World Cup in 2030. And we also have to keep an eye on new talent that might emerge. So, yeah, it's a very, I would say, enthralling process.
Yeah, that's Rudolph Speedy, is the interim coach of the Jamaica national men's senior team. A 6-member team will depart Jamaica on Sunday to participate in the FISU Americas Games in Lima, Peru. Paul Beckford is head of delegation, and he says despite the small number, the team have the quality within its ranks to do well.
The success looks to be very positive in terms of achievement. We have some athletes who have been on the scene, and they have been doing well based on records, based on Rashid Foster, who has represented Jamaica already at the highest level. We have Dijon Strong from University of Technology. Jay Switter has also been out there in Peru already, where they have gotten gold, on the relay. And we have Mark Daly, who is at the Louisiana State University, who have been doing well as well. So technically we are looking at a strong team.
And Beckford says the team will be using this tournament as preparation with one eye on the World University Games next year.
Notwithstanding the fact that we can underscore any other teams that were out there, but from my perspective, we are looking strong and we are looking good. And I want to also say that we are using this as a lead up for the World University Games, because the FISU Americas Games, as you know, is one of the regional championships for the World University Games. And this now is what we want to use to prepare for the World University Games that will come up in South Korea next year.
That's Paul Beckford. Finally, basketball superstar LeBron James says he was sure he had played his last basketball game when the Los Angeles Lakers were swept from the NBA playoffs by the Oklahoma City Thunder in May. The 41-year-old James made the admission on the day he announced he'll be joining the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year contract. He described as his last decision. James spent 8 seasons in LA, and he led them to the 2020 NBA title. He says he's still in love with the game and believes he can contribute to Philadelphia becoming champions of the NBA for a 4th time, hence his decision to continue. Leading American sports talk show host Stephen A. Smith says he was baffled by James's move.
Shock, because I thought that if he was going back east, he would go home, that he wouldn't dangle his availability in the face of the Cleveland Cavaliers and then go somewhere else. For him to choose the Philadelphia 76ers, this is a shock among shockers. And I think that this speaks to Bob Myers, the architect, the former 4-time champion executive for the Golden State Warriors, being in Philly now and having him there, who went out and pulled off a heist as far as most of us are concerned in getting Jaylen Brown. So now you got Jaylen Brown, okay, who's big time, obviously.
That's Stephen A. Smith, and James will now undoubtedly be part of one of the best starting fives in the NBA. He has a lot alongside Jaylen Brown, VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, and the Cameroon Colossus, Joel Embiid. That's sports. Have a good weekend.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice in the electrical business.
This station raised me. It gave me a voice. And if Nationwide has ever meant something to you, come on in. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
Remember the first time, the first glance, the first touch, and rediscover that feeling. At Couples Resorts, every stay feels like the first time all over again. Escape to a couples-only, all-inclusive paradise with gourmet dining, premium cocktails, and unforgettable ocean views, all included. Jamaican residents can celebrate with exclusive rates from $405 USD per night, valid through April 30th. Visit couples.com/residence. Couples Resorts, like the first time, every time.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 7 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come on, let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 7 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Those oldies but goodies reminds me of you.
Every day, Jamaicans have something to say. In the group chats, on social media, in the streets, there's a place where it all comes together. The comment section. This is not a lecture. This is not a call-in show. This is the hottest topics of the day, filtered through real opinions, real WhatsApp messages, real voice notes, real reactions. You agree, disagree, sound off, text it, voice note it, debate it. Comments section, Monday to Friday from 7 to 7:30 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
This is not just a radio show. This is a lifestyle takeover. Ready to level up your home and your mindset? Tune in to the Design Studio with Karen Booker, your design diva, where bold ideas, refined interiors, and powerful living collide. We're bringing you next level interior design, real decor fixes in What Would Karen Do? Transformation secrets inside Design Lab, and mindset elevation in Thrive 360. Because this is more than design, this is lifestyle. From stunning home tours to confidence building conversations, we're designing rooms and redefining success. Catch the Design Studio Saturdays at 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM and streaming live on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live. Design bold, live elevated, thrive fully.
Lord of mercy.
This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio. My team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
The Nation's Business is brought to you by the Jamaica International Financial Services Authority, promoting transparency, trust, and sustainable investment growth.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is 25 minutes after 6 o'clock and we are in the front, no, not the front page, the Nation's Business. The Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network, JAN, is calling for urgent action to strengthen the protection of Jamaica's children following the tragic killing of 10-year-old Shania Coke. Young Shania was on her way to a nearby shop in the community when she was allegedly abducted. Her body was found partially nude in the afternoon with her throat slashed. The main suspect, Delroy Coke, and his father were set upon by an angry mob of residents and chopped several times. Delroy, who is Shania's cousin, was pronounced dead at hospital. Jan is calling for the establishment of a joint select committee of parliament to review existing laws and identify gaps in the child protection system. They say addressing violence against women and children requires more than expressions of concern. They are calling for stronger prevention measures, increased support services, specialized training for child-serving professionals, and greater collaboration between government, communities, and civil society. In the meantime, Commanding Officer for the Trelawney Police Division, Superintendent Veronique Campbell, is urging the community to remain orderly following a protest held in the community.
Superintendent Veronique Campbell, Commanding Officer for Trelawney Division. Today, the management team of Trelawney Division, supported by CSS headquarters, visited the family member of 10 years old Shania Coke, who was killed in the community of Tyre District, Troy, Trelawney. We offered our deepest condolences and support. We understand that this is a very difficult time, not only for the family members and residents, but for the entire country. We are enlisting the support of residents for law and order to be maintained in the community. Yesterday, we had persons blocking the road and causing further instability. Please, I am imploring, desist from blocking the road and bringing further instability to your community. Thank you very much.
That's Veronique Campbell there, the commanding officer for the Trelawney Police Division. In the Nation's Business this evening, we want to take a look at community-based measures. What can be put in place to prevent the abuse of children? Joining us to discuss our attorney at law and spokesperson for Hear the Children's Cry, Priscilla Duhaney, Project Officer at Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network, Natalia Burton, and Custos of St. James, Bishop Conrad Pitkin. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Bishop, haven't heard you. Hello? Oh, he's not there. Okay. Technical difficulties there, so I'll go ahead with the ladies. Well, first of all, Jan is asking for the formation of a joint select committee to review legislation and identify gaps. I imagine that Jan themselves have identified some gaps to have called for this. Natalia Burton, over to you. What are the gaps that you have seen in our child protection framework?
That's a good question. So when we examine situations like this, where persons in question of committing such a horrific act, have been previously convicted, and where even further news updates have revealed that, the offender was allowed to return to the community and a victim had to leave due to jeering and other issues as a result of that. We therefore we beg to question, how is it that monitoring and evaluation is done after these crimes have committed? How do we ensure the victim's safety? How do we notify the community? So if it is that the offender is a parent, are they put to a near schools? If they have family members, are those family members notified? How is the community made aware, and how is the community protected?
But usually though, Natalia, communities know, communities know, family members know when these things happen, when somebody is charged, when someone is convicted. On the ground, people know.
Yes, we know people are aware, but we can't say that in every circumstance persons are aware, right? So usually this is a seeming family matter. Persons know of the person and the incident, but still, how can we ensure that these children are being protected?
Let me go here to the Priscilla Duhaney, attorney from Hear the Children's Cry. Your view on it. Is our framework enough? If not, what is our framework missing when it comes to protecting children?
Hi, good afternoon again. Thank you for having me. All right, I'm here. I was hearing some feedback. I'm not sure.
Hearing you clearly now.
All right, great. Well, first and foremost, of course, I believe from the standpoint is that there's always going to be gaps in our legislation. Our legislation is essentially a framework to ensure that we can capture what is taking place, legislate on criminal or activities or offenses that are taking place currently. We are generally not very proactive, but more reactive. And so that is essentially going to create gaps in our legislation, because more and more we see where things that we probably weren't even anticipating, and to the extent of the type of crimes that are taking place. So we need to have stricter laws for sure in these circumstances. Our laws need to have more teeth. Sometimes we need to look at the duration or the term in which the offenders are given. Specifically, I want to just make it clear though, nevertheless, because seeing that we are talking about the particular case at hand, before we jump to the conclusion, because to my knowledge there has been no evidence as yet to conclude or make it absolute that the suspect who is now dead is actually and indeed the person who committed the act. Whilst we would definitely agree that justice should be served, we want to be very careful as to how we deal and treat with this matter. But definitely our legislations need to be stricter in terms of how it is that we are going to protect our children, make it stronger, make it tighter, and of course put in place we need to be more proactive in our approach to put in place for protecting our children and mandating sometimes even the responsibilities of our parents and how they are carrying out their duties. A lot of neglect is happening, and sometimes this can lead to a failing system.
Very well. I'm going to ask you all to hold the line first. We're going to go to a short break and return.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:33.
Tap up online instead. I beg you tap up online instead. Don't bother hold up the lane and waste people time. Beg you tap up online instead. Download the Mighty Tag app and have funds to your T-Tag. Anytime, anywhere, any amount I can spare, just top up online instead. Tell us work hard for you. Nobody give them more work for do. Don't hold up them time, just top up online. Beg you top up online instead. Get 10 trip in the tag and free. I saw you have money for dash way. No join the manual line. Top up online. Beg you top up online instead. If the mighty tag up it a hurt up your head. Top up with WhatsApp instead. Send a one text 3553336. Beg you top up.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
If you've ever called in, shared your story, or got help on this show, then you're already family. Now make it official. Join the nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
Get a T-Tag and lock in your toll rates for the next 90 days. Effective Saturday, August 1st, 2026. There will be some changes to the toll rates at the Portmore, Spanish Town, Vineyards, Maypen, Tollgate Mainline, and Tollgate Ramp toll plazas. But with a T-Tag, your rate will remain unchanged until October 31, 2026. Plus, all Class 1 and Class 2 T-Tag customers will get their 10th weekly trip through the same toll plaza free. Visit transjamhighways.com for the upcoming rate changes. Don't pay more at the toll booths. Get your T-Tag today from any manually operated toll booths on Transjam Highways.
6:35. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're in the nation's business, speaking about community-based actions in helping to mitigate violence against our children. And I'm joined by Priscilla Duhaney, attorney at Hear the Children's Cry, project officer from Jayan, Natalia Burton, and Custos of St. James, Bishop Conrad Pitkin. Bishop, you there?
Yes, I believe I am now.
You believe you are. I believe you are too. Bishop, tell me something. Situations like these, oftentimes the urge is given, the cry is made, no pun intended. And at this point in time, we're now saying we need more community action when it comes to protecting children. You're a man on the ground. What does that look like when it comes to community measures, stronger prevention measures in our communities?
Thank you for having me. And first, let me express sincere condolences to the family of the young girl that was barbarically murdered. It is very painful. Mm-hmm. And so I want the parents and the family members to know that our prayers are with them. And when I speak for every single justice of the peace in St. James, and I would dare to say Trelawney and across Jamaica. Mm-hmm. We have spoken about another one, heard some about 2 years ago. And also, our concern has to be for the alleged perpetrator that was died as a result of an attack because he's just a suspect. We would have rather to see him face the justice system and the outcome. However, it is what it is. Our prayers are with both families. I came in on the back end. Apparently, my other number, they weren't reaching me. Yet to hear about legislation. But everything cannot be legislated. Mm-hmm. It's just impossible to do that. Questions remain unanswered. Were there any signs in the community that we would have seen certain things? How concerned we are. We are in a period that the village helping to raise a child no longer exists. The concern of citizens for each other is missing to a certain extent. What can can we learn from this incident? And every time it happens, we say the same thing, what can we learn? Or are we really learning from this incident? How can our communities across Jamaica come together in protecting our children?
Yes.
They are the future of this nation. What can we do? Is there need to be some education, some more sensitization in our communities, some more community discussion ideas where town hall meetings really, you get the converted and the unconverted are not coming. How can we improve? And I hear the speaker talk about tougher legislation, legislation with more teeth and all of that. The question again, is it working? Or there need to be behavioral adjustment in our community and the value for life? I ask those questions because they're important.
And Mike, yes. And Natalia Burton, you just heard what Bishop had to say. Same question to you, really. Community-based actions. What community-based actions, based on your organization's research, should we be looking now to implement in our communities to prevent the next tragedy?
Right. So we believe that there really needs to be a change in values, attitudes, and culture. Because last year we did a youth consultation and we created a Youth Against Violence call. And young people definitely made it very clear that, preventing family violence and GBV as well should be a national priority. So even when we look at the curriculum and incorporating preventative teachings there, so we reduce the chances of perpetrators being formed as opposed to telling girls how to navigate a world where they are likely to be victimized. We think that is an approach that should be at the forefront as well. So how can we partner with the Ministry of Education to get things like emotional regulation, conflict resolution, handling rejection, and kind of undoing a lot of the toxic masculinity that we're seeing, but also, using community leaders, positive male role models in the community as well to serve as mentors and to really speak to boys and young men so that, we can address some of the deep-seated issues that lead to men becoming perpetrators. So we think that there is very much so room for education, and we absolutely have to create a shift in the culture because we see where there's a level of desensitization. Yes, incidents such as the unfortunate passing of Shani, they often result in outrage. There has to be some lasting action. We have to do something to reduce the likelihood of more perpetrators being formed. So there also has to be that early childhood approach.
Bishop, is it a case that communities have become less connected? Because when I was growing up, especially in the country there, everybody knows everybody. Everybody know, no man, I'm supposed to reach home from 4 o'clock because I'm school down the road there, so I'm go school there. So, like that sense of community and people knowing and having the information, that connection, is it that is disintegrating or it has already left us?
From my perspective, it is not disintegrating, it has disintegrated, it has already left us. And that's why we are where we are now. And I have listened to the last speaker and what she was saying. It is so true. Values and attitude have been eroded, badly eroded, and we need that. I did say behavioral change, but and I agree with her. There need to be cultural adjustment because we tend to be trying to find our culture in this latter time. The district raising a child no longer exists. And I totally want to agree with her. Every time this happens, there's an outcry. But a few days after, it dies. And I said, I am guilty too.
Yes.
Because I led the charge when that young girl was abducted, right? And we had a national outcry, and the Minister of Education joined us across Jamaica, every school. Juicy Patties had one where they wrote on the ground and they wore black across Jamaica.
Yes.
And that was it. We need a sustained movement, a sustained, not another organization. And that's why we are here, because I decided I didn't want to join start another organization. I would like Hear the Children's Cry. The founder and I were very close. And unfortunately, she's no longer. But I would like to join with the present leaders of Hear the Children's Cry and the other group that you have. And let us start a sustained movement across Jamaica. Let not this be another 2 or 3 weeks that we come on the radio and we talk. I am just weary of the talking. Let us start with action now, right? Let us get the communities involved. I am willing to call my colleagues, the colleagues across Jamaica. Let's get the justice of the peace involved across Jamaica. We need to save our children. We need to save this country.
Priscilla, final word to you there. You heard what Bishop has said, what Natalia has said. In going forward, though, you've called for legislative reform, but you can do so much and no more to police what happens inside a home. Your suggestion going forward?
Well, just to make it clear, I kind of caught the tail end of both. But simply, I must say that we at Hear the Children's Cry have been calling on the government to implement a Ministry of Family and Parenting, a Ministry of Family and Parenting, which essentially it would focus solely on our children, on the family. And we have been saying this from the time of Betty and Blaine, that it is very important, it is critical.
But we have places like, I don't mean to cut you, but we have places like the Jamaica Parent Support Commission, for example.
No, this is, which essentially, the ministry will basically be the umbrella for all these agencies, putting them under one umbrella where they can properly allocate the relevant resources and focus primarily on what is happening to our children and the family, because a lot of our challenges that we have been facing and the social issues, it goes right back to the root of the family being scattered, being, at some form, they're all over. There are different challenges, there are different issues, neglect, abuse, poverty, and all of that. So if we can fix that, as we have always been saying, we can fix a lot of our issues. In addition to that, we need a change of culture. We have become an anti-child society where we are, or my colleague on the other line said, we are now only thinking and concerned about a 9-day wonder. Today it's Shani, tomorrow we don't even remember. And we move right along. So if we can now become a society that we have action and less mouth, and we continue this drive throughout, then we should be able to accomplish way more. We need everybody, all hands on deck, the church, the community, the parents, all stakeholders, and the government.
Very well. Thank you so much, all, for joining me. Attorney at law and spokesperson for Hear the Children's Cry, Priscilla Duhaney, Project Officer at Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network, Natalia Burton, and Custos of St. James, Bishop Conrad Pitkin. Thank you so much, all.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you too, and you all have a blessed evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah? We take a break.
The Nation's Business was brought to you by the Jamaica International Financial Services Authority, promoting transparency, trust, and sustainable investment growth. The Jamaica International Financial Services Authority promotes Jamaica as a jurisdiction for international financial services. Visit JIFSA at jifsa.gov.jm. The time by JIFSA is
12 minutes to 7 o'clock.
Introducing GoGel, the ultimate solution for fast and effective pain relief. Soothe your aches and pain within seconds. Whether it's muscle soreness, joint pain, or back pain, GoGel is here to provide quick relief. Thanks to its fast-acting formula, you'll experience relief right when you need it the most. GoGel provides lasting comfort so you can stay active. So, get moving with GoGel. Available in pharmacies, distributed by Aventa Jamaica.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice in the electrical business.
Get a T-Tag and lock in your toll rates for the next 90 days. Effective Saturday, August 1st, 2026. There will be some changes to the toll rates at the Portmore, Spanish Town, Vineyards, Maypen, Tollgate Mainline, and Tollgate Ramp toll plazas. But with a T-Tag, your rates will remain unchanged until October 31, 2026. Plus, all Class 1 and Class 2 T-Tag customers will get their 10th weekly trip through the same toll plaza free. Visit transjamhighways.com for the upcoming rate changes. Don't pay more at the toll booths. Get your T-Tag today from any manually operated toll booth on Trans Jam Highways.
10 minutes going up to 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for staying with us. Our final interview of the evening concerns the Save Our Boys and Girls Foundation, which is set to host its inaugural 5K run, walk and family fish fry on Sunday, July 26 at Hope Gardens in St. Andrew. Held under the theme Steps for Their Future, the event aims to bring together runners, walkers, families, corporate teams, sponsors and community supporters for a morning of fitness, fellowship and fundraising. Proceeds will support the Foundation's education initiatives, including tertiary scholarships, grants, and other programs designed to expand opportunities for young Jamaicans. The program will feature professionally timed 5K run, walk, warm-up activities, finish line celebrations, prize presentations, sponsor activations, and community engagement, after which will be a family fish fry. To discuss further, we are joined by its patron, Juliet Holness. Good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Well, first of all, what inspired the launch of this event?
You were so good at the introduction, I wondered if I had anything at all to say.
I was wondering myself.
Let me tell you, I have always been struggling with an aspect of our foundation. We started off first as Save Our Boys Foundation, became a registered charity, and moved into Save Our Boys and Girls because we realized that girls continue to be marginalized. This particular effort in terms of our walk run is targeted to education. And why I have found that sometimes I move to tears when I see bright, promising young Jamaicans who are not able to make it, not able to optimize and maximize their full potential because they just cannot manage to finish paying off their school fees. And it is not because they don't want to, they genuinely cannot afford to. And we have actually had to say to some persons, okay, let us do a fish fry to help raise money for school fees. And this is after exhausting things like the CDF and walking and begging people individually. So some of the students who have benefited in many ways towards their own education, some have left university since, some are still struggling through university, through high school, they actually said, you know, we want to be able to both help ourselves and pay it forward for other children who are struggling as we did. And I say children, but loosely, because we have helped persons even doing medicine and who are doing law. Not a lot, but we literally try to push to that extent if it is what they need to just get them over that final hurdle and get out of university
And to be
become
to be clear, the foundation helps children in your constituency, or is it
No,
island-wide?
generally I've helped island-wide. So persons will write, and we don't really have them jumping through a hoop in terms of several essays. Once you're doing well at school, once you're convinced that you will be able to complete your program,
Yes.
then you are given the support to the extent that we are able to financially assist. And we do appreciate young people that we realize are giving back in their own community.
Yes.
We have had persons who, help with medical fairs in their different community. They will help with back to school in different communities. So right across the island, we have helped in Melissa. We were in St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland. And we continue to support. In COVID, we were in several parishes doing distribution, and particularly in the summer, to include food items and supplies for children.
Nice.
We went a lot further then in terms of who are boys and girls, because it was then the most vulnerable, which sometimes extended to the wider family.
Yes. So tell me, separate and apart from those who come on July 26th, for those who are not able to attend, how can they lend support to the foundation?
The foundation's website, particularly for this run, if they would like to contribute to the run, is sobg5k.com, and they can fund in that way, or the foundation's website, they can take a look at the myriad of work done and fund through the foundation's website, which is same initials but with F for foundation, sobgf.com for the website. You can reach out via phone number. The numbers are also on the website.
But tell us here just in case. If you can.
Right, so the first number, regular 876 or Jamaica area code 4960526. And they can also call 876-844-6597. And it is ongoing. If there are persons listening to the program who are struggling, reach out to the best we can. We will help. And we have had one or two situations that even Jamaican children who are finishing up overseas, if they really have special circumstances, we have been able to find a way to extend to them some support to get them completed and back home in Jamaica, working for us here in Jamaica.
Amazing stuff. And as it regards Sunday, July 26th, it's at the Hope Gardens in St. Andrew. What time should they be there?
I would want everyone to be there by 6 o'clock.
By 6
We start our warm-up at 6 a.m. sharp. Not Jamaica time. 6 o'clock. By 6:30, we are off running. And about 10 minutes later, because we are trying to ensure walkers and runners don't meet up with each other, the walkers will head off. We have structured the map so that you leave Hope Gardens, you walk up to Pepin by UTEC, turn and enter the top gate of Hope Gardens, and then we go through the Hope Zoo, which means you are getting the benefit of a cooler morning walk, and you go to the finish line.
Very well. And for those who are just hearing about this run walk and family fish fry, but particularly the run walk, and they want to participate, when is the deadline to register and all of that?
You can register right up until 6:30 when the race starts.
Really?
Yes.
So you can just turn up and register?
Such that you can turn up and register. We're encouraging persons to register before. We are distributing at 56 Gordontown Road the bibs. If we find ourselves even in the night when we are doing setup, there are persons who decide they would want to touch base. We'll be at Hope Gardens. You can collect your shirt. You can collect your bib. You can collect your ticket for your fish fry meal right up until 6:30 in the morning.
And what is the cost? The cost to go to the run walk, the cost for the fish fry ticket?
You're right. The cost for one individual walking is $3,000 if you're an adult, $1,500 for a child. If you are a group 20 or more, $2,500. We do a sort of reduced special. So for the fish fry, one protein with two sides is $2,500. 3,500 if it is two proteins with two sides. So like if you want to have fish and chicken or goat and fish, and you get a $500 discount if you are walking and also supporting the fish fry. The t-shirts for the walk run, they're very nice, and they can be used for other walk run events. A big 5K walk on the front, year 2026, and the Save Our Boys and Girls Foundation is nicely written. Not so large, so you can continue to wear it. You will have other merchandise that is very Jamaican in terms of the look, and it continues to help to support the activities of the foundation. Persons will be able, if they would like to, purchase merchandise as well.
Yes. Thank you so much, Juliet Holness, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. And wishing you all the best for the weekend, of course, especially Sunday, yes?
Thank you so much.
Juliet Holness, separate apart from being the patron of the Save Our Boys and Girls Foundation, she's the Speaker of the House and a Member of Parliament, putting this on to help out her children get across the finish line with their education. A very important aspect of our nation's growth and development, yeah? If it wasn't for education, many of us would not be where we are. So it's very, very important. Very important. Anyways, that's all the time I have to spend with you this evening. But of course, you can join us here back again Monday, same time, same place, 5:30 for Nationwide at 5. It's been my pleasure being here with you. Special thanks to my super producer, Dana Davey, to the man behind the controls, Damian Cunningham, to those in the newsroom, Mahiri, Cara, and others. Special thanks to you as well. And of course, you, our listeners, my YouTubers, I don't forget you at all, and my sponsors. This show would not be the same without you. I'm Said Bernard. Take care, walk good, and have a great weekend.